Hello, my name is Arlen McFarlane. I'm the Curious Gardener, and I'm here at Elemental Farms today with Bart Bounds, and we're talking about extending the growing season. Bart, hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
So I feel like I need the growing season extended. How do you do it with plants?
Basically, you're trying to create healthy plants so they're strong. And then there's a variety of tools and techniques you can use to build your own microclimates within whatever microclimate you're in already. We've had frequent frost since mid-August. In this spot here, we're a bit higher than Whitehorse, and we have flat mountain there, and the cold just drains off of it and flows right through here. So it's also a bit of a rain shadow, so we're a bit drier in the dry weather. If plants are less hydrated, they're more sensitive to frost. They don't have the ability to withstand it as well. Healthy soil makes healthy plants. Healthy plants have more capability to deal with any kind of stress, whether it be insects, whether it be weed pressure, whether it be drought or flood, cold, heat, all those things that can stress a plant. If they have the nutrition they need, it's a stronger, healthier plant, just like people. People who maybe don't eat a complete diet are more likely to get sick and probably suffer from cold and heat as well.
So I noticed we've got some plants covered with a piece of fabric here. What's going on?
This is called a floating row cover. It's a specially designed polypropylene cloth. There's several different brands and thicknesses. So this is called a 30. It's good to about -3, -4 Celsius. It'll give protection. You know, sometimes you'll come out after a hard frost, and this will be a sheet of ice basically. But even in that, it's creating an insulative layer enough where things underneath will still be green and alive, and you might get a little frost nip, such as this, where it's touching the cover.
Right.
And you can see here, because actually this cover doesn't quite reach to the end, and you can see the difference in growth, or I can. But you know, that's a little bit less green, a little bit rougher looking leaves, a little shorter.
Are there heavier weights of this fabric?
Yep, you can get what's a 50, and I think there might even be a 70 that will give really strong protection. Although when you're getting into that, you're getting a lot of losing a lot of your light.
I see.
The thicker it is, the less light that goes through.
All right, so this is a medium weight, and it translates a fair bit of light.
The light is somewhat diffused, so it kind of moves around the plant a bit more.
How long will a piece of fabric like this last?
I find the lightweight stuff, I've got some pieces I've had for 3 years. I might get a 4th year out of it. This stuff here, I just started using this year, and I can see it probably lasting twice as long. Yeah, it's quite a bit more durable. If I want to keep insects out, I'll bury the edges in, so there's no way for them to get in there. Generally, I just use old water bottles, pop bottles, or stones to weigh them down, or you can use metal wire staples.
So when you use a bottle like this, is the bottle absorbing some heat, and do we have some passive heat transmission going on?
Exactly, you get passive solar from it, and I just started using these because I'm always looking ways to reuse things.
This fabric here looks a little bit skinnier.
Yeah, this is a thinner, and this one's 3 years old, so you can see it's got its battle wounds, as you might say.
Oh, and here's one of those staples that you were talking about. So you just put that in the ground, push it in, and then it helps hold it down.
Generally, you want to fold it a couple times.
Oh,
you can see the multiple holes there.
Yeah, so it doesn't rip easy.
Yep, just like a hem.
Right.
But at this stage here, I'm not too worried about frost. These are all quite frost tolerant.
Well, it looks like a fantastic secret garden in there.
Yes, it is.
Look at that lettucey thing. It's big and round.
That's a lettuce.
Holy.
And that's just a volunteer. This is a row tunnel. You can use the floating row covers for a row tunnel cover. The plastic is nice. It's got better light penetration. And this is a greenhouse type plastic. So it's got a UV protection in it, so it doesn't degrade or yellow like the regular poly that you'd use for construction or whatever for vapor barriers in houses. It's also a tough light. It's built to withstand cold and high winds. It's designed to absorb infrared heat and release it when it gets dark. Pretty high-tech stuff. This is our mesclun mix, so it's all cabbage family plants, and they're all cold-tolerant varieties. However, I want to see how late in the season I can grow. So I just planted this about a week ago, and I've had this on there to get it germinating. We're going to have colder weather coming, so I went ahead and built this. Some years we can easily harvest until into November. Sometimes it's like last winter came quick and hard, and so by early October there was no way we were growing anything. Once I get it all set up, I'll have these strings going down between the hoops, and it just all will pull up over. And as soon as it gets cold, I can quickly just drop this all back down.
It's pretty exciting to grow, to plant something towards the end of August.
Yeah.
And think that it might actually grow. Nobody else does that, Bart. Tell me what we've got here.
This is what's called a solar mulch. It's a type of plastic mulch. So a mulch is something that covers the soil. You can use it in the summertime if you're growing heat-loving plants. You can cut a hole in there and plant your plants in there, tomatoes, squash, or whatever, and it keeps the soil warm. This solar mulch in particular, it allows infrared radiation to go through, which is the heat of the sun, and it'll warm up the soil, but it suppresses all the other types of the light radiation that would encourage weed growth. My application of it here is extending towards the other end of the season in the springtime. So what I've done is I've tilled this, amended the soil for what I'm going to be growing in here next year, and in the spring, this will heat up quicker than the other beds. And so I'll get about another week or 2 weeks earlier start where I can work the soil.
Will you leave this on over the winter then?
This will be on over the winter, yeah.
So you'll brush the snow off in the spring and then lift it up and seed?
A lot of times the snow will actually melt off of this because this dark underneath the snow, and the snow itself is actually kind of collecting heat, and it'll just kind of melt off. Yeah. I've learned to leave the sides actually open because you get all that moisture penetration in there. I use it like this now, that way I can just roll it up and store it and hopefully get lots of use out of this plastic. There was some lettuce left in this bed, and you can see some poking out there. It just got tilled into the soil, so it'll decay and add organic matter into the soil. And lettuce is actually a really nice source of nitrogen. It's 17% protein, more than pork.
Lettuce has more protein in it than pork?
Yep.
Lettuce has more protein in it than pork.
But that would be dry weight.
Dry weight.
Yeah. Lettuce is like 99.9% water. So.